Okay, today I'm going to talk about some of my favorite memories from the past. This is one of the funnest topics to talk about because we all love reminiscing about the good old days. Let's just jump right in. The first memory I want to talk about is 6th grade camp. In case you've never heard of this before, in the US, at least when I was in school, we had the tradition of going on a week-long camping trip during 6th grade. When I went, we didn't actually camp in tents though. We got divided into groups and stayed in different cabins with different camp counselors who were in charge of the cabins. I had such an awesome time because we got to do a lot of outdoor activities like hiking, archery, and rock climbing. Since I'm an outdoorsy person, this type of trip was right up my alley. Aside from the activities, we had plenty of time to talk, play, and bond with the other kids. Also, the food was bomb. Of all the memories I have of elementary school, 6th grade camp is probably number one. Alright, the next memory I want to talk about is a trip I took to Hawaii when I was 13. I've actually been to Hawaii a handful of times, but this trip was special because it was only the first or second time that I had ever traveled without my parents. I went with a friend and his family, and we stayed in a nice hotel right across from Waikiki Beach in Honolulu. At that time, I thought it was the coolest thing to take a week off school, go to one of the most beautiful places on earth, and be without my parents. I guess I didn't do anything that special on that trip, but the circumstances were what made it such a great memory for me. Okay, another memory that'll always stay with me is the first day I drove to school in my own car. I was barely 16, I had just gotten my license the day before, and I felt like I was on top of the world. I remember having my music playlist specifically chosen for that momentous occasion. Getting your driver's license is a big rite of passage for young Americans, and it's a proud moment when you can finally drive yourself around and not have to rely on your parents to give you a ride. At that time, I thought my car was really cool, but looking back now, it wasn't all that. However, that doesn't make the memory any less important to me. Another one of my top memories is graduating from high school. The ceremony itself wasn't anything special, and I wasn't necessarily proud of myself or anything, but I was just relieved to finally be done. And not only that, but at that age I had big dreams and lofty expectations for my future, so I was excited to finally start that journey. My life didn't end up going as I'd planned it, but that doesn't matter. The reason why graduating from high school was such a powerful memory for me is because I can really remember that excitement that I felt. Alright, perhaps my favorite memory of the past is the language exchange program I did in Mexico in 2013. This was the first solo experience I'd ever had in another country. There wasn't anything that could have prepared me for this type of trip. I went to a foreign country without being able to speak the language well, and I stayed with an older couple who didn't speak any English. Needless to say, I struggled big time during those first couple days, but little by little I started to get my bearings. I made friends, I learned Spanish, and I even met my future wife. Even today, my wife and I love going back to some of those old spots where we hung out during my exchange program. As you can see, I really enjoy reminiscing about the past. Okay, that's all for today.